Hello everyone. In this video, we'll learn about the basics of JavaScript. Introduction to JavaScript. JavaScript is a scripting language that enables you to create dynamically updating content, control multimedia, animate images, and pretty much everything else. It supports the object-oriented programming with object prototypes and classes. Features of JavaScript like event handling, support for various frameworks and libraries, dynamic typing, platform independence, prototype based, etc. In this video, we'll learn about some topics in JavaScript like variables, arrays, functions, objects, and loops. First, variables. The was statement declares a variable. Variables are containers for storing information. After the declaration, the variable is empty. It has no value. Creating a variable in JavaScript is called declaring a variable. JavaScript variables can be declared mainly in three ways by using keywords. That keywords are var, let, and const. Var. Already we have discussed it. Next, let. Variables declared with let are block scoped, meaning they can only be accessed within the block that contains the declaration. Here is the example for let. Next, const keyword. The const keyword in JavaScript is used to define variables that cannot be changed once they are assigned a value. This prevents any modifications to the variable's value. Here is the syntax and example for const keyword. Next, arrays. An array in JavaScript is a data structure used to store multiple values in a single variable. It can hold various data types and allows for dynamic resizing. Elements are accessed by their index starting from 0. Declaration of an array. There are basically two ways to declare an array, that array literal and array constructor. Creating an array using array literal. In this, it involves using square brackets to define and initialize the array. This method is concise and widely preferred for its simplicity. And here is the syntax and example for that. Next, creating an array using JavaScript new keyword. The array constructor refers to a method of creating arrays by invoking the array constructor function. This approach allows for dynamic initialization and can be used to create arrays with specified length or elements. Here is the syntax and it is the example for the creating an array using JavaScript new keyword. Next, functions. A function in JavaScript is a reusable block of code that performs a special task. You can define it once and then you can run or call it whenever you need that task done in your program. A JavaScript function runs when it is called by some part of your code. And here is the syntax. To create a function in JavaScript, we have to first use the keyword function, separated by the name of the function and parameters within the parentheses. The part of the function inside the curly braces is the body of the function. Next, objects. There are two types of objects, built-in objects and user-defined objects. First, built-in objects. Objects that are predefined in the language and are responsible for handling some specific task. And these are the examples for the built-in objects. Next, user-defined objects. Objects that are defined or created by the programmer to solve any given problem. Example, car, house, etc. There are note for the objects. Every JavaScript object is a descendant of an object called object. JavaScript object. Object is a mother of every JavaScript object. Next topic is loops. JavaScript loops are essential for efficiently handling repetitive tasks. They execute a block of code repeatedly as long as specified condition remains true. These loops are powerful tools for automating tasks and streamlining your code. Here is the example for loops. There are mainly two types of loops. First, entry control loop and exit control loops. First, we learn about entry control loop. In this loop, in these types of loop, the test condition is tested before entering the loop body. For loop and while loops are entry control loops. Next, exit control loops. In this type of loop, the test condition is tested or evaluated at the end of the loop body. Therefore, the loop body will execute at least once irrespective of whether the test condition is true or false. The do while loop is exit control loop. Next, for loop. For loop is a control flow statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on a condition. It consists of three parts: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. This loop iterates over a code block until the specified condition is false. Here is the syntax and example for loop. Next, while loop. The while loop executes a block of code as long as the specified condition is true. In JavaScript, this loop evaluates the condition before each iteration and continues running as long as the condition remains true. The loop terminates when the condition becomes false, enabling dynamic and repeated operations based on changing conditions. This is the syntax and example for while loop. Next, do while loop. A do while loop in JavaScript is a control structure where the code executes repeatedly based on a given Boolean condition. It's similar to a repeating if statement. One key difference is that a do while loop guarantees that the code block will execute at least once, regardless of whether the condition is met initially or not. Here is the syntax and example. Next, for in loop. The JavaScript for in loop iterates over the innumerable properties of an object, allowing you to access each key or property name in turn. It's commonly used to transverse object properties but can also be used with arrays. And this is the syntax and example. Next, for of loop. The JavaScript for of loop is a modern iteration statement. It is introduced in ECMA script 2015. It allows developers to iterate over iterable objects such as arrays, strings, maps, sets, and more. It provides a simpler syntax compared to traditional for loops. Here is the syntax and example.